Greetings and welcome to the world of live streaming. No? Welcome to StreamFEST Live. Hope you're having a good morning or a good evening or a good afternoon wherever you happen to be in the world. Thank you for coming and joining us live, and if you're watching us after the fact, greetings. I hope you enjoy the recordings. I've prepared a little presentation just to get StreamFEST Live rolling. Really, if we can go over to the slides, please. We will... that's brilliant. Thank you very much. So, StreamFEST Live. What is StreamFEST Live? Well, StreamFEST Live is a community gathering getting together to celebrate live streaming technology. We're going to be talking about all sorts of different things today, anything to do with live streaming and live streaming related technology. So that could be products, it could be productions that people are making, it could be the tools of the trade, and lots more. So there's lots of exciting stuff to come today. This is also a gathering of like-minded people, so hopefully if you're going to join us on the Zoom room, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes, you can talk to people there, make new contacts hopefully, and join in with the presentations on the questions and answers. It's an opportunity to share ideas as well. You can, that's it. So, you know, as you will see on the presentations today, lots of people have got lots of different ways of using this technology, and hopefully, you know, between us we can share our ideas and sort of have some new ideas between us. It's an opportunity to learn about the technology itself and the technological developments that have been going on over the years, and let's face it, this is beginning to really move very fast now. As with all information technology, it moves at a real pace, and the pace is just getting faster. It's a place for vendors also to show off their new toys, as it were, and things that you might be interested in. So hopefully you will see some bits of kit that could be useful for you. And it's an opportunity to ask questions, an opportunity to find out more about things, and you can do that through the Zoom room. And it's an opportunity to explore the future of this technology too. Streaming isn't new, and it is very much still evolving. But let's take a look back at how it all started. In the beginning, there was the internet. Well, actually, it was called the ARPANET. And it started in 1969 when the first message was sent over it. Technology in 1969 was very different. But just before we talk about 1969, let's just go back 10 years earlier, because 10 years earlier was a very significant time. In 1959, the integrated circuit was invented at Fairchild Semiconductor. It was a very expensive device at the time, and most devices continued to use discrete components rather than integrated circuits for quite a long time after. But what was significant about 1969? Well, there was the space race, the moon landings. The lunar module required a small computer, and it had a computer with 32K of core store RAM and 32K of ROM, which was hand woven into a mesh of a fixed program. To make it small, it needed the newly developed integrated circuits, and it was really the space race that kick-started the integrated circuit industry. Without the space race, we may be 10 or 20 years behind where we are now, and that's quite a thought. So thank you to the people who landed on the moon for helping live streaming along its way. So what did dial-up look like in 1969? Well, it was a 110 baud or 300 baud, that's 11 or 30 characters per second. Things were much slower, and I have here an example of a modem from 1969. This huge great box is a 300 baud modem, and as I was saying earlier, you can actually pull the cards out on this, there's a power supply unit, there's the control unit, the modulator and the demodulator are all on separate cards. I'm going to pull out the modulator here, and you can see on this board, you can see why computers of this era were so large. There's not an integrated circuit in sight. Okay. Generally, people were using teletype terminals, hard copy terminals, so speed wasn't such a major issue. But what about storage technology from that sort of time? Well, punch paper tape was common from the telex industry and that kind of thing, so computers sort of started existence during the war, during World War II, and paper tape was the sort of standard storage technology for that at the time, and it proved to be a good technology for computers as well, or for the developing computers. It's not very dense though, this storage. You've only got 10 bytes per inch on this tape, and here is an unused reel of tape which probably measures about 7 or 8 inches across. I'll take it out of the bag so you can see it more clearly. So any guesses as to how much data this £10 reel of tape will store, or $10 reel of tape? Well, it's somewhere in the region of 100 to 120k, and that would cost you 10 UK pounds or $15 thereabouts, probably, for a reel like that. Hard disks came along in 1957 with the IBM 305 RAMAC, which was a 24-inch disk, and with a 5 megabyte capacity, which is unbelievable, really. Also at the time, magnetic tape was a common form of storage. So I don't really know how much these tapes store, but this is half-inch tape. It was pretty much the standard of computers, well, really right through to the 80s, but this was the primary means of storage on some early computers. In 1971, the 8-inch floppy disk came along, and we have an example here. This will probably store about 1 second of H.264 video that we're used to producing. It's about a megabyte capacity usually on these sort of disks. So, you know, that gives you some feeling of the difference in data density. 5 1/4 inch disks came along about 1976, and these actually often had a bit less capacity to start with. These were sort of 100k or 360k, so that's about a third of a second of video, and ended up with 1.2 megs on the high density versions of these. It was replaced around the early 80s by Sony's development of the 3.5 inch floppy disk, which is probably a more familiar medium, and anybody who had an Amstrad word processor or a ZX Spectrum may be familiar with the 3-inch disks that they developed, which are actually more solid. But the 3.5 was what really was popular. The first 1 gigabyte hard drive was made in 1980 by IBM. It was the model 3380, and it weighed literally half a ton, 1,000 pounds. In today's money, it would cost you $250,000. And we complain about the cost of hardware today. Things really are getting cheaper. It's one of the few things that does get cheaper is technology, so we should be happy. As I mentioned earlier, early computers used teletype terminals, and they were hard copy terminals. The digital video terminal, video display, or video display unit as they became known, didn't really become popular until the mid-70s, and they were pretty expensive. By 1987, new tech came along, I'm scratching my head trying to work out who this new tech company is, but the video toaster was announced in 1987 and became available in 1990, and this is sort of the beginning of where digital video started to happen really in the computer world. By the 1990s, video capture hardware was coming along for the PC, so you could capture your little 176 by 144 videos off the TV and store them uncompressed on your hard drive. You'd probably store a few minutes. By the year 2000, hardware-assisted video editing systems were coming along so that you could edit more or less in real time on a computer, but the processor and the graphics cards at the time were just not powerful enough to do it entirely in software. But you get to the 2010s, where we are now, and the software is capable of doing it because the standard hardware that's available off the shelf is now capable of doing these things, and that's what's enabling us to do what we're doing today. So in conclusion, we've never had it so good. It's likely to get better, in my opinion, and let's hope it does. Who knows what the future will bring? Maybe we'll find out some insights into the future today. But let's celebrate the technology and enjoy a day of just sort of geeking out on live streaming. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. The next presentation will be coming up shortly. Thank you, Rudy.